Today's sponsor is Encore Live, Sarasota Bradenton's #1 destination for live entertainment. Joey Gilbert, Maiden Kane's guitar player. How you doing, man?
Good, man.
Welcome to the
Real
show.
good. Thank you.
You are one of the best guitar players in the area, no doubt.
I don't know about that, but I do my best.
You know what? After this show is over, you're going to be so famous that you won't be able to go to Publix by yourself.
I go incognito. I'm always incognito.
You know, the Jacked Up podcast has really, grown over the years. And, it started out just, one person watched it, then two, and then four. So now
Yeah.
it's growing. And, I have really interesting people like yourself come on, right? And the point of the show is like for us to talk about what got you into music, what you were listening to as a kid,
Yeah.
reminiscing about your first couple albums and concerts. And, I like to take people, the listeners and the viewers on a journey where we'll go chronologically through your life and bring it up to today.
Yeah.
But before we do all that, I want to give you this shirt. So not all my guests, only the guests that I like get a free Jacked Up shirt.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
Enjoy this.
Appreciate
And
it.
when you're riding your motorcycle or your bicycle, cars will see you clearly.
Yeah, for sure.
from
Definitely.
a, from
Thank
a
you.
distance as well.
Appreciate it.
So before we get into all the old days, let's talk about currently Maiden King. You guys are on fire, man. It's like I encourage every one of my listeners, if they haven't seen you guys yet, which I think is rare because I think pretty much everyone's seen you, they need to get down to, you're mostly Charlotte County, right?
Yeah, we used to be we used to go all the way to Tampa, St. Pete and move around until COVID. And COVID squashed a lot of our, moving around. And we had things that happened with the band with members and family members and things like that. So we dialed it back for a while, but we're starting to crank it back up. So
Tell us the current lineup.
right now it's myself and Jim Kiefer, bass player. We founded the band, and Billy Day's our keyboard player. He was number 3, and we ended up finding Cliff, and then Rick was our last member to come into the band.
Drummer.
Yeah, our drummer.
Now, how do you find a guy like Cliff? I mean, he's a very rare cat.
It was out of necessity. We had a show with the band Warrant, and a dear friend of mine, the original singer, he just didn't want to be in that spotlight like that.
He was nervous.
I don't know if it's nervous. Early on when we were young, he didn't seem to have a problem with it, and I don't know if it was nerves or he just was like, I think I'm done with it. And we were like, okay, well, we need a singer, and we found Cliff in one call. What is that band page band?
You were lucky because he's so good.
Yeah.
That you got lucky, like a lightning struck, man, because that cat was available and he's one of the best.
Yeah, and he knew our list. It was one call, and Jim's like, hey, check out this guy, and I listened to him. I'm like, yeah, and then he had his songs on there. He was doing the Boston and the Foreigner and all the stuff that we do. So he came in. We had one rehearsal, and we played a show.
And then everything it's been magic since.
Yeah, well, and the kicker was Warrant didn't show up. They canceled on the gig, so we had to foot the whole gig. So then we became, instead of opener, the headliner.
Was that like a Janie Lane Warrant or after Janie Lane?
It was after Janie Lane.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what the issue was, but the guys had
That's
issues.
too bad.
We've played with Warrant before, and they're great guys.
Well, whenever a major act comes through town, it always seems like Maiden King gets the call to open for him. Like I saw you guys at Thunder by the Bay.
Yeah.
We played Thunder by the Bay last year.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to open up for Blue Oyster Cult.
Oh, cool.
Who did you guys open up for?
Night Ranger.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it's the third time I think we played.
Did you stick around and watch them?
Yeah, for a little while.
Dude, they were fantastic.
Yeah, they still those guys, and we've done Firehouse also, and Firehouse is just they're still kill it. They're awesome.
So as much as I loved Night Ranger and I was blown away how good they were, I went back the next night.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, 38 Special. Oh my God. I couldn't believe how good they were.
And you don't realize how many hits those guys had.
Oh yeah.
It's amazing. I mean, we've done shows with those guys as well. And I think twice, and it's phenomenal. You you forget how many songs they had.
They're great musicians, but then technology's gotten better too, where like
Yeah.
it's crystal clear, you
Yeah.
know, and I know maybe my senses are better now that I'm not drinking and smoking, so now I can like actually understand what the hell I'm listening to.
Hmm.
But we were center stage, you know, VIP, and we were just me and my buddy Larry would look at each other like, oh my God, is this really happening? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, they were hitting it every note, man, every lick. It was like, wow.
Yeah. In-ears, I think, have changed the game a lot, especially vocally. And then, excuse me, guitar wise, a lot of bands, Night Ranger's not that way yet. They're still full amps. They're full amps in the back of the stage, turn around backwards.
30 special had nothing on the stage, dude.
No.
So here's the deal. So this is a great question that you, as a really excellent guitar player, and you're probably a gearhead too, I would assume, can answer. So when you go to a concert and you see a band like 38 Special with no amps and no pedals, right, and they're able to produce the sounds that they do, is there a guy? Is there somebody working their pedals on the side of the stage? And like, is the guitar tech realizing how to put effects on? Like, what's all that about?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I was lucky enough to meet with Libby Gray, Styx, their engineer, their production engineer, and I got to go back and talk to Tommy Shaw's guy, and he does everything for Tommy. Everything for Tommy. Clicks the buttons, turns the pedals,
Yeah.
everything.
So he's just glued and watches the set and glued and knows exactly
yeah,
when to turn him up.
yeah,
I want to throw on some effect on him and to back it off. That's really
yeah.
cool.
Most of the guys are going that way now. It's just easier for them. They're not stuck to a pedal board
Which
or
will
what-
malfunction.
yeah,
Right?
yeah, or whatever. So me, I've had multiple Marshalls on stage, multiple Friedmans on stage, this amp, that amp, and now I'm quad Cortex and straight to the front of the house, and I have a little EVH monitor that pushes sound from behind me so it feels real, and I'm starting to play with ears again. So
Are you using ears in both or just one?
just one.
Okay.
I can't afford them super nice in-ear systems. You know what I
Dude,
mean?
the KZ fucking ears are cheap and they're good.
Yeah, yeah. I don't like the
No,
feeling of it feels like everything's right there.
nobody wants that.
Yeah. So when I take that one ear out, it's wonderful. There is a technology called Klang, Klang. And when you put these fucking things on and you look around, the sound changes.
Hmm.
So if you look at your drummer you'll hear him out of your right ear if he's on your right or the left. And wherever you turn, the sound goes. It's super cool.
So to make you to add to your point, I think that singers and guitar players can protect their hearing.
Yeah.
They can protect their voices. For an example, a singer doesn't have to strain
Mhm.
because they can hear themselves in their ears, so they don't have to like really scream because they're competing with a guitar player.
Yeah.
It adds for longevity.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And you do hear better. Vocally, everything's cleaner.
Right. It's easier to harmonize because you know exactly where you need to be.
Yeah. And there is a formula to it. I read all about it, but the gearhead thing is, with live monitors, when a singer moves, their pitch changes and they don't even realize it. So when you hear bands out of the 70s or the 80s and you're like, oh my God, they weren't that good. It's because it was so loud. I mean, we played stages with like Molly Hatchet, Blackfoot, and those are the guys that still have stacks on the side of the stage, full PAs. And it's so loud. It's incredible.
Don't you think that's a nightmare though for the front of the house sound guy? Because
it's a nightmare for me.
They can't stand it because how do you mix properly through the PA if the bass guy is so fucking loud that you got to take the bass out of the fucking subs?
And even Night Ranger, Jack's bass was so loud because we were up there and they came back on. They had a power issue, and Jack's bass was so loud. I was like, oh my God. And Brad's guitar was that loud too. But they're on the back of the stage, turn around backwards and under the walkway and stuff and mic'd. But it's funny because his guitar tech came out because I was playing the quad and he's like, what amp is that? I'm like, what do you think it is? He goes, it's a slow, it's an SLO. And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, listen to this. So he pulled out Brad's guitar and that's what Brad plays is SLO 100. And it's the same. And they sounded exact.
Cool.
He's like, I wish I could get him to switch over because it'd be so much easier. And you see, my sound comes into an XLR and straight to front of house.
Okay.
And that's the way I mix it through my studio speakers. So
Sure.
if they put it through a good quality system, good front of house and stuff like that, it's always going to be perfect.
Now you have a full-time sound engineer that knows you guys.
We don't.
I'm surprised.
No, we tried for a while. We had guys come in and out. Now we do work with a guy, and when he's in town, John Laterza, and the guy he worked on the NBC and the streets, when the guys play in the morning. He's done all that stuff. He does a lot of corporate stuff. And in the beginning, he would mix us, and it set us off on the right foot. We'd be playing with nationals, and John would come in, and he was better than their guy, always.
Who owns the gear in your band?
We don't own gear.
So you don't bring your own
No.
PA?
When Jim and I got together, I had a full PA, full thing, full PA, full lights. And he's like, "We're not going to need that." And I'm like, "Really?" Because I've been playing in Florida forever. He goes, "No, let's design the show more this way." And I said, "Yeah, that's what I want to do. I don't want to be in a bar." Did it for years. You know what I mean? On the bar, 3 hours, load in, load out, getting home at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, drunk drivers and all that stuff. And I'm like, great. So I sold everything. So we only play shows that provide sound and
That's
reinforcement.
nice, dude.
Yeah.
I'd like to maybe do that one day, achieve
Yeah.
that.
But there's a downside. We don't get to play as much as maybe some of us would like, but then again, it's more relaxed with us. And we're not playing every
You don't need
week.
to play every Saturday night.
No, we don't.
Like you've done that for many, many, many years.
Yeah, yeah.
And your wife probably wants to do things on Saturdays anyway.
Yeah, and we pick and choose which ones we want to do because it was more selective. Like, damn, let's just go after that gig, or this would be a fun one to play.
And
or,
this time of the year is fun because there's a lot of festivals going around.
Yeah.
March and April are like the two best months in Florida to play, which brings me to my next point. It's a good lead in. Thank God for the Twisted Fork, huh? That's the greatest place that ever happened. I mean, live music, great big stage, great sound. Marcus is cool. Bert's cool.
Yep.
We play there like every other month, man. They're good to us.
Yeah.
Food's delicious.
Yeah.
The people are cool. Like, what are your thoughts on that place?
We started playing there before the Twisted Fork was in existence. We played there for Bert King, the owner of the Harley dealership. And we were Bert's go-to band. They would put up a big old little tent or a tent on the back where the Twisted Fork, where they come out, the servers, and where that little area is where they got the chair. That was all just a plaza. There was a tattoo shop there and paint shop there and something else. And Bert come out one day, and it was hot. Oh, it was so hot because we play on. They had their one little stage, still the same.
They didn't have that metal roof back then.
No, it was wide open, and they had a little tent for the people to sit under. But Bert was smart. Every time we played, it was free beer. Free beer. So, and he still does it at the dealership. You go walk in the dealership, you get yourself a free beer.
Good to know.
But we would blow through so many kegs, and it was just us and that, us and that. And then they would move it to the front, and Bert says, I'm covering the whole parking lot. And then I don't know how the Twisted Fork got involved with him, but kind of the same thing up at OCC. It's a mirror deal, covered, and he did the same thing.
But that's a major cover. I mean, that thing is industrial, man. That's like, you feel like you're in an airport hangar.
It's wonderful. And the fans are there.
Oh, yeah,
and,
dude. It's like, it cools it off.
Yeah.
It shields the rain.
Yeah.
So they've moved the stage into a lot of different positions. So now it's in a position where probably going to stay there, right? I would assume.
I think so. I think they finally got it at a place where it's good. It's not in the weather. I know they probably had a few times with the rain because rain blows sideways here.
It does.
It
does. Yeah. We've been very fortunate that we've been able to play. We have minimal rain, but sometimes bands get canceled there, right? Because of that.
Yeah, and
September, like hurricane season.
Yeah, hurricane season. Yeah, yeah.
What do you think of the sound there? Like the engineer, isn't Nate awesome? I think Nate's the best.
Yeah. And they've updated the system immensely. Marcus has done a great job of getting a great system in there. And it's huge. Everybody sounds great. Nate's excellent to work with. He's always, goes above and beyond to make you sound good.
He's a pro.
Yeah, he's a real.
We sound like the fucking Who when we play there. I'm like, me and Larry look at each other. We're like, holy shit, we can't believe it.
Yeah, I think when Nate was first starting, John came in, our guy, and because John is world class sound guy, world class.
Like,
and so I think he tried to, show, I mean, people like to do their own thing, but John knows his shit. So I think Nate got a few little lessons from John, and he's amazing. He does great. He listens, he uses his ears, he mixes with his ears, and you can tell it always sounds good.
Now, whenever you play there, you play in front of a full capacity.
Yeah.
How many people do you think they fit there? Like, how many, is it 2,000? How many people
I don't know. I've never really counted the tables because the VIP.
But then it goes back because like
Yeah,
the tables are full,
yeah,
but then all those people are in the back,
yeah,
going back to the dealership. There's
yeah.
people back there.
It's cool when um after COVID. So this is an interesting story. After COVID, people were dying to go out and do something, and we were the first band to play the Twisted Fork after COVID. They brought in Thunder Audio, and it was probably one of the biggest PAs I've ever seen in my life. Played, played with, okay? And there were no tables, but I can tell you there were people from the front of the stage to the side building and to the restaurant and all the way to the Harley
I
dealership,
believe it.
elbow to elbow.
Yeah.
And they used that picture quite a while to get to everything moving for their advertisements. And it was wonderful because we had the big banner up and it looked good and it sounded great. And then the lights were amazing. And I think that's one of the first concerts that really kick it off and say, look what we have here. And it's since then it's just kept
But
on
but
rolling.
but so you guys are the top dogs, but there's so many other bands that can still fill that place up.
Oh, absolutely.
Gas House is a great example.
Yeah, yeah,
It's just like so. This is what I'm trying to say. This marketplace, man, is hungry for live
yeah,
entertainment,
yeah,
and it's mostly free,
yeah.
so they love that too, right?
Yep. And the Twisted Fork, they do a great job down there. Um, this area, it's been a hard area. I mean, you think Sarasota, the arts and all that stuff. Well, we used to play downtown, Lemon Coast and the Animal House, and they just kept shutting us down and moving us over here, shutting us down, moving. And people, for some reason, love outside venues. Twisted Fork is kind of both. It's in-house or it's under a roof, but it's outside. People love outside for some reason, even though it's so hot. But I guess it's just an experience. It's the experience.
Do you guys ever do the OCC up in Clearwater?
We used to do it when we would play with for the St. Pete Beach Bike Fest.
Was that Victor back then also?
I think so.
Because he's been there for a while.
I think
The
so.
beanie guy.
Yeah, I think so.
Because they bring in, they don't, it's like Twisted Fork will do blues and pop.
Mhm.
They're just all about hair metal in Clearwater, dude. They're
Is
all
it?
about the hard stuff. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They love the arena rock there.
Yeah, we've done a couple shows up there, but we haven't been back in quite a
Sinners
while.
up there. That guy Carmichael, the voice of rock and roll. He did that like a Def Leppard Journey thing.
Oh yeah.
Foreigner's Journey.
Yeah, yeah.
It's all good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a good thing about the Fork too down here is they bring in Marcus is doing great by bringing in quality acts. I mean, this place has grown, it's blown up, it's exploded. We didn't have that. You didn't have that luxury to pull in Unchained or Gas House, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Consistently.
So they bring in really good tributes. They have really good bands like Gas House, 22N, just a couple of you guys obviously. Oh gosh, Hollow Point. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah.
Who's that cat? That cat Tyler played in a band. He was an original guy, but then he did a cover and he did Heartbreak Boulevard or something.
Oh
like that,
yeah,
Heartbreak
yeah. I think
something.
he's in Heartbreak Boulevard.
And then he
now.
ended up hooking up with that George dude from Lynch.
George Lynch.
And next thing you know, him and Sam Bean, two young guys are touring and going around with George Lynch. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's cool, man. It's excellent. The area predominantly has always had rock stars here. I mean, Brian Johnson lived over on Bird Key.
Yeah.
He came to a show. It was weird because I cut my teeth on Kiss. I mean,
Yeah.
I was a 70s
Hallelujah.
kid.
So
I
did
was
I.
10 and 80 or something like that. So
Whoever says that they didn't love Kiss is lying.
oh, that's why I play rock and roll. I used to have Kiss concerts in my bedroom. I'd take old styrofoam things and
Dude,
put
I have a
Christmas
Gene
lights.
Simmons mask in my truck.
That's
I
awesome.
swear to God. I do.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and it's funny that I know I play guitar, but Gene Simmons I wanted to be like Gene Simmons. There's no doubt about it.
And then you'd be a billionaire right now too.
I wish. Just didn't, but those guys are here. So there was a time where I played with a gentleman named Sam Andrew, and he was a guitar player for Big Brother and Holding Company, and he discovered Janis Joplin. So when he came, he heard tape of me playing with some other people, and he goes, "That's the guy." So I came in, we rehearsed like twice. We read everything off sheets. It wasn't standard rock and roll. It was very different. And those guys played different. Everything was vamped. Everything
So was it a blues bass?
Kind of. It's Janis Joplin type
Or
big
was it a little more like a hippie, spacey, funky
cross between that. Yeah. Blues and the hippie crazy stuff. It was probably one of the most challenging things I had to do because, like I said, nothing was standard rock and roll.
Well,
So,
they're trying to create art, man, you know?
yeah. And it was here's the verse, here's the chorus, here's the bridge, follow me. And that's what we did. And we played. Uh, I got offered to go with him, but I had young kids and it just wasn't going to be the lifestyle for me. But what an interesting person.
Hey, folks, don't forget, Jacked Up's going to be playing at the Twisted Fork, opening up for Amanda, the premier Boston tribute band. You can get tickets right now. It's going to be Saturday, March 28th. Jacked Up goes on at 7, and I believe Amanda goes on after that. Gates open at 6. Your ticket's going to get you the buffet and a great seat, great viewing. So go to twistedfork.com, buy your tickets. We'll see you there. So did you meet Brian Johnson?
Yes, because he came to see Sam because of Janis Joplin.
They all know each other.
Yeah, well, listen to his style. Listen to Brian's
Because
style.
Brian is still, someone said he still has a home there, but he travels a lot. He's got homes obviously all over the place.
And I heard they were getting ready to do another tour, so
Yeah, I heard that too.
I don't know.
He likes to follow, there's a guy named Greg Billings.
Yeah.
And then when Greg Billings plays the seafood festivals,
Yeah.
sometimes if Brian's in town, he'll show up there.
Yep. Yeah, he's been known to do that.
Because one day I was pulling out and this Rolls Royce comes pulling into the parking lot. It says band members only. And the guy that runs that festival is a hard ass.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, no one, but yet this Rolls Royce got to go right in. So I'm driving away. I'm like, who's that guy? So I get home, I get a phone call. Oh man, you left too early. Brian Johnson rolled in, and he, said that was him. He was in his Rolls, and he rolled in.
Yeah.
And he went backstage and he hung out with those cats.
Yeah. Joe Perry's here somewhere. He's very close.
So he moved from Longboat, I was told. Now he lives by the Ringling. He's got a house back there on the water.
Yeah, when we were playing over there, Darren Hurst, that's his guitar tech, Joe Perry's guitar tech. Well, he's teching for Brad. And he goes, I think Joe's coming. So he answered the phone, and I think he rolled in the backstage. I didn't get to talk to him, didn't get to meet him, but
you know what's funny? A lot of those cats ended up going to Encore Live because Tom Hamilton's band came through.
Yeah.
And Tom Hamilton has like a band, and some of the guys that were around went to see him, But Steven Tyler was seen recently with Joe at a place called Morton's Gourmet Market.
Yeah, I think I saw pictures of
Sarasota.
that. Yeah.
It's a really nice place to eat.
Yeah.
If you get a chance to go there. But yeah, so to your point, a lot of guys are rolling in and out of this marketplace. There's a lot of talent here.
They used to come here to hide. They lived here because they could live here and not be raped everywhere they went. You know what
incognito.
I mean? Yeah.
Because a lot of the senior citizens that that walk around the streets have no clue who they are.
Yeah, they don't care, and they leave them alone, and they put their hair back. And
Robert Plant,
he
likes to eat at that place in Nokomis when he's in town. Now I don't know if he's in town anymore. I don't even know if he lives here, but I was in there a couple years ago, and the lady's like, "Oh, you just missed Robert Plant." He used to eat. What's that Italian place? It's like a hole in the wall.
It's a little tiny place, right? Yeah.
And it's in Nokomis, and it's delicious. The guy's from Buffalo.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of it. Gosh, but just big portions, Italian food craziness.
Yeah.
But yeah, so apparently the waitresses are all the same ones that've been there for years. And oh yeah, he was here, and he's a gentleman. I would have liked to meet him.
Yeah. It's cool. We've gotten to do a lot of shows, like you were saying earlier. We've got to play with this band and that band. We've done so many, and a lot of them are super, super cool people.
Now, do these guys seek you out? Like, how do you get hooked up with like a firehouse or opening up for like a thing ranger? Like do people say, oh, I know some of these cats living in Sarasota, let's call them? Is that how the process work?
We just pay attention. We just really try to pay attention and see who's going to be where. And then if we know, we go after the show.
But you know somebody who knows somebody. So like Bobby Schneck, a great example. Bobby Schneck was a Aerosmith guitar tech. He lives down here now.
Yeah.
So he knows a lot of people. I saw the Joe Perry project. I was in like the second row. I was in really good seats. It was the opening night. So it was him. It was Joe Perry. It was the bass player from Stone Temple Pilots. And then it was Chris Robinson of the Black Crowes.
Yeah.
And then the drummer was supposed to be the Stone Temple Pilot guy, but he ended up canceling and got somebody else. And then the keyboard guy, I think might have been Aerosmith's keyboard, because I guess they toured with a keyboard player. So they were visibly nervous, and they even said, this is our opening show. because they were rehearsing at Bass Sound, which is right around the corner.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was great to see Joe Perry, up and close and personal. And I think a lot of times, I mean, maybe not you, but I think a lot of people forget about Joe Perry. I'm like, wow, this guy's a living legend, right? I mean, you always talk about Jimmy Page and Eddie Van Halen and Beck, but then he's like Joe Perry, man. He's been around for 50 something years, man,
Yeah. Yeah, and he was one of the original guys out of the 70s,
and he
really. I
still
mean,
rocks, dude.
still does it, and where look at Slash and look at Joe Perry. It's the same type of style. I mean, Slash is just a newer kid on the block. Perry was around forever.
Is it safe to say that Aerosmith is one of the greatest American rock and roll bands of all time?
I think so. I mean, I think they're so underrated as far as their especially their songwriting, the way their songwriting evolved. I mean, because in the 70s, uh, I used to work at a little place called Troll Music in Venice, and the owner said, first time he saw them on tour, he said they were so awful. Aerosmith was so bad. Who are these guys? And then they exploded, and then they got going, and they exploded.
They find a producer and then
Yeah.
they find their sound.
Yeah, they found their
So
sound.
what was your favorite? I know it's a hard question, but what was your favorite Aerosmith record? You got to pick one.
God, I don't know. I mean, it's funny because everybody thinks that I'm really a big 70s guy. I'm not. I'm an 80s guy. I mean, I was 10. I mean, I was born in 69, December 69.
Did you collect records as a kid?
Kiss records. That's it. Kiss records. And then so I loved Aerosmith. Like I said, I loved Aerosmith, but I didn't really get into those guys until later into the 80s.
So let's talk Kiss then, because I think Detroit Rock City, that album, was produced by Bob. Was it Bob Ludwig? Who was the guy that produced that album?
Yeah, I don't remember.
It was so well done
Yeah.
that I think it made Kiss like even more famous.
Yeah. I remember, I think the first album I had was Alive 2, the big album.
Yes.
Opened up.
Yes, colorful.
Yeah, and it was all the the stage show, and I was like, oh my God. And then from there, I started getting Kiss records.
Then you started going back in time.
Yep. Then I started going back.
Right, to Kiss Alive 1.
Alive 1,
Right.
and then Destroyer, and then Rock and Roll Over.
Destroyer. I keep calling it, yeah. The name of the album is Destroyer. And I think that was their best studio record.
Yeah. Yeah, they had such cool stuff. But I think it was just the larger than life thing about it. You know what I mean? Like these guys they were just so cool. It's like every day was Halloween, but it was still rock and roll.
How many Kiss shows would you say you've seen live in your lifetime?
3.
That's it?
Yeah.
I've seen a lot more than that.
I was poor, bro. I was a poor musician. And then they took off the makeup and I wasn't interested. When the makeup came back on, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I understood why they took it off, and some of their music was good still.
Yeah.
But you're right. We're paying to see the makeup. And the
They
fireworks.
evolved, through the 80s, and they did what they had to do. And
So I've seen good Kiss shows, and I've seen horrible Kiss shows.
yeah,
I've seen when Paul Stanley's voice was horrible.
yeah,
And I've seen him. I've been fortunate to see him when he was right on, like
Right.
in his younger days.
right.
But Gene is always consistent.
Yeah.
Now the fact that they're switching out the drummer and the guitarist, a lot of the purists are pissed about that.
Yeah,
Like they want Ace, like in this new hologram thing they're doing.
yeah,
Like they want it to be the real Ace.
want it to be-
They don't want it to be the other cats.
yeah. And I got an interesting story about Ace. In one of my earlier bands, we did Maiden Kane. We do some originals too, but not often anymore. But my old band, it was Wicked Gypsy, and we did a lot of originals. We had a whole album ready to go, so we would mix that in. Well, Ace got booked at a little place down in Venice called Club Yesterdays, and it was a bowling alley. Believe it or not, it was a bowling alley. And then the front of the place was a club. It was a nightclub, and so we were one of the bands that always got to do the ladies' nights, always got to do this. We were popular there, so they hired us to open for Ace. So Ace comes rolling in, and he was not a very nice person.
Was he still drinking back then?
Oh yeah.
And was he a 3-piece?
No, it was him. He had a guitar player. They were 4-piece. Drummer was phenomenal. But I remember he come rolling in. He was not happy. And I'm like, oh no, he's not happy. I don't even get to go meet him. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because he was cussing and then fuck this place, this bowling alley. And I mean, and then he wouldn't play the stage because it was a multi-level stage. So he made him come in. And so anyways, we ended up, we were doing a release that night of our CD, and we had to cancel because they had to build the stage even because Ace wouldn't play it. So we ended up doing the whole production for the lights and the follow spots and everything. But it was interesting. I mean, you see your hero and then you see him running backstage to grab oxygen and you're like, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
You know? But, the story that I wanted to talk about was I was outside and they wheel out this big box and they took off the top and the guy goes, "You going anywhere?" I'm like, "No." He goes, "All right, stay right there." They took off. It was every one of his Les Pauls. I'm like, "Oh my
Wow.
God."
Pretty cool.
I'm like, I see, the smoke
Yeah.
one, the light
Sure.
one, all that
Sure.
stuff. I'm like, "Oh my God." But, it was phenomenal. It was phenomenal to be in that situation to see it. And they did good. I mean, they played, all this Ace's stuff and then his solo stuff, and it was awesome. It was actually
They
awesome
always used to
experience.
open up the Parasite Woman.
Yeah,
Great
yeah,
opener.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think they opened that night with that.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I saw him a couple years ago at the I think Ruth Eckerd or Capitol Hill or something. Capitol Theater. But yeah, man, you gotta love Kiss. And when he died, it was sad, and they had I guess the president had their annual Kennedy Center honors and Kiss was recognized, right? So they're all sitting up there. And then they had like tributes, right?
yeah.
Then they said something nice about uh, Ace and they had a guitar up there. And that song that he wrote, it's like Mirrors, I think it's called, or something on one of his solo records, or Windows or Mirrors or something. Played the intro to that.
Yeah.
And then his guitar, somebody pushed the button and the guitar started smoking
Oh, that's cool.
because it was on a stand
Yeah, that's cool.
and it was like just the guitar and
Yeah,
a spotlight on it.
yeah, yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's funny because like I said before, Gene was not that I was a bass player in jazz band in high school, but I always wanted to be a guitar player. And it's weird how I gravitated
Well,
towards Gene and
that's a
you know.
great lead into my next question. Let's talk about when you were younger and how you got into guitar. Like, let's talk about picking up your first guitar and what got you there.
Um, my whole family played guitar on my dad's side in Pennsylvania. My grandfather probably could have been a country star. He was, had the voice, could play the guitar, had the stories, World War II vet, Beach in Normandy, that kind of shit. And uh, so they were always playing guitar, not necessarily rock and roll. Now my uncles were rock guys, and I'd see their posters, and I always wanted to, and they had the black light paintings, and they were all artists and painted real cool stuff. And I always wanted to play, but my hands aren't, I don't have large hands. So like, you got to get bigger, you got to get bigger. And grandpa died when I was about 12 and the whole family just went, whoa. Well, that didn't stop me from always seeing the guitars in the music stores when I walk by and be riding my bike and see those guitars. And so it just made me want to play more.
Always.
When I got to Florida, um, I ended up getting some acoustic from some guitar teacher, and I just started playing, and I just played and played and played. And then I got in jazz band in high school and played bass. And we started our first band, high school band,
So were you mostly self-taught or did you have a lot of instruction?
mostly self-taught. Mostly self-taught. It wasn't until well, it was in the 80s. You get the guitar player magazines or whatever, and there was something called Metal Method. Doug Doug DeMarks, or I can't remember what his name was, but I ordered those tapes and I started learning pentatonic and major and Ionian, Boolean.
So with Kiss being your favorite band, you were trying to emulate Kiss at that young age, right?
Nope. At that age, I was on to AC/DC and Priest and Ozzy.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you skipped over Zeppelin.
No, I love Zeppelin. But when I was started really playing was like 84. So it was Randy Rhoads was my
Yeah, he was big then. Ozzy was big.
that was my guy.
AC/DC was still big.
Yeah. And I had probably had more AC/DC records than I did Kiss albums.
You know what? If an alien came and landed here and asked me what the rock and roll sound and was, I'd say AC/DC. I
Yeah.
think they're the epitome.
Oh,
They're the
yeah.
epitome of a rock and roll band. Don't
Yeah.
you think?
Yeah, that's just pure rock and roll.
Yeah.
There's no, we're trying to be harder, faster, metal. We're not trying to be. There was a time when rock wasn't good anymore. It had to be faster, had to be louder, had to be more dressed up, had to be more fire. Just, you know what I mean? But AC/DC was always just AC/DC.
It was always consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Even Kiss took the disco route with "I was made
Yeah.
for love."
Yeah, but AC/DC never did. They
Nope.
just always just
Balls to the
stayed,
wall, man.
yeah, and just right in your face rock and roll. Uh,
So what'd you think about bands that now we're moving up in, like, years, when Metallica came out? Were you a Metallica guy?
I was. Yeah, I was. Being in Inglewood, it was a far reach. I mean, we weren't it was like, I mean, the Almonds are from here, so the Allman Brothers, and there was a lot of Southern rock
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Inglewood was a fish town, man. It was like a fishing camp. You 2 lanes in, 2 lanes out, you know what I mean? That was it. A third lane every now and then in the past. There was no McDonald's. Uh, there wasn't much down there. So for us, there was a very small group of us, long hair kids that liked heavy metal. Metallica was one of them. Metallica, Anthrax. We'd have to go to Tampa, Orlando to see them.
Yeah, Tampa had a harder rock scene up
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Tampa is like it's underground metal capital
Yeah.
of the world.
Yeah, that's a whole nother segment I'm gonna do
Yeah.
because there's a lot of cats up there that have, like, stories to tell.
Oh, absolutely.
You know Kelly
Shape-
Schaefer?
Yeah.
He was on my show, and he's like nobody talks about that cat, but he's famous, man, and he goes and sells out fucking stadiums
Yeah.
in, like, South America and Germany and shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a good friend that I went to high school with. His name is Lee Harrison, and he's a drummer for Monstrosity. And they're doing a tour right now, and it's sold out.
Dude, so you know this, right? When these guys, Americans, go overseas, people go ape shit over that music.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah. And Monstrosity, they're heavy, man. It's like I think the first singer, his name was Corpse Grinder. He had like a neck like this, and he looked like a corpse grinder. But yeah, Lee, we went to high school together, so there was a very small group of us. There wasn't in Tampa, maybe up here in Sarasota, we didn't have access to like these great teachers that you can see everywhere, or YouTube, or
I know.
you know what I
You
mean?
had to listen to the record and learn it, like, note for note. Like, you didn't have cheat sheets, and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
didn't have somebody on video
Yeah,
saying
or you get a little plastic record out of Guitar Player magazine and you
Yeah.
put it on.
No, I
turn
remember
it
those
back,
days.
turn it back.
I remember the cassette, was huge because you could stop it and rewind it, stop it, rewind it,
Yeah, yeah,
and I was self-taught back then.
yeah, yeah. It was a different ball game. I mean, then you see little kids that are like 8 years old that are virtuosos.
I know.
It's like, what the heck?
There's a lot of blues players like, Champ Jackson and Trey,
Yeah.
and a lot of these guys well, Mike's a little older now, but, like, they started out young, and they were able to figure out, the fingering and the
Yeah.
scales, right?
Yep.
And maybe their dad, was a Clapton fan or
Mhm.
whatever, so pushed them in that direction.
Mhm.
So I think it's easier to learn the blues, right? I think as a kid, it's probably easier to go in that direction.
I think it's yeah, probably easier to get going in that, but blues it's its own animal.
Dude, I just saw Joe Bonamassa Saturday night.
Yeah, he's phenomenal.
Dude, I see him every time he comes to town. He's a freak. He's so freaking good, and he's so cool. Even a little bit of an arrogant guy, like, but that's what you would expect.
And
You know what
I'm
I'm
not
saying?
even sure it's arrogance. I just think he's just that
Is it
far.
confidence then?
No, I just think it's just those people are different.
They're world class.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's almost like we'd be sitting here watching Beethoven.
Yeah.
Like,
They think different.
we're glued to him.
Yeah,
Probably
they
the
think
same way
different.
that when Beethoven or Mozart played, there were people that were glued to watching him.
Yeah, yeah.
Joe Bonamassa to me is like Clapton on steroids, and I love Eric Clapton.
Yeah, they think in a different level. I mean, when you hear Joe, it goes back to who's the cat that did Cliffs of Dover?
Oh, that's Eric Johnson.
Yeah, Eric Johnson. He sounds a lot like Eric Johnson.
Now, Eric Johnson, that's unique because these guys we're talking about. Well, Eric Johnson's more of a shredder.
Yeah.
He's more of like he's a virtuoso, but like his sound is a little bit different. But then again, he does do some blues. One of his on that Via Musicon album, he's got a song. I want my listeners to listen to a song called Desert Rose.
Yeah, yeah, Desert Rose. He was definitely a different guitar player. He was not a shredder as far as like Ingve or
No,
or
the cat from Theater.
yeah, yeah. Any of those guys. I mean, God, there were so many. Vinnie Moore and all those guys that came up through there. Like they were just on a Tony McAlpine. They were just on different, like, you're like, okay, who's gonna be next? And then and you just couldn't get
But
any
you know what?
better.
But I don't really care for that kind of guitar. I want a guy that's more complete. Like Stevie Ray Vaughan to me was like the first blues guy that took it to a different level in my mind.
Mhm.
The ferocity, and the way he played, and the way he bent the strings, and he was to me he was just like the next level blues guy.
I thought the same thing till I saw Buddy Guy, and then I saw where Stevie got all his stuff. Because I was like, "No way."
Well, all those British guys, dude, they capitalized on
Yeah,
in the South, especially in the 50s and 60s, there was a lot of racism.
yeah,
And there was a lot of white families that forbid their kids to listen to the black music.
yeah,
So a
yeah,
lot of these records were thrown out, and there's stories about how these British guys, and this is just probably a fantasy, but or folktale, but they were going through the garbage cans of the kids and pulling out these records and learning these songs and taking it back to England and then giving it back to us.
yeah, yeah,
That's interesting.
yeah.
Like the
Blues is a
Stones and Zeppelin. I mean, they were
yeah.
playing American blues. The Stones and Zeppelin, I think, weren't they just basically cover bands in the very beginning?
I
And
mean,
then they turned it around and started writing their own shit?
yeah, when you a lot of Zeppelin stuff is blues covers, but not in the cover that you would think, like, they took it in their own direction, and that's like when I played with Sam, like, it was all about jamming. They would just start playing and just find out where they came out every night. So they get stuck in songs for an hour,
There
It was
no,
different
there's
stuff,
something
man.
cool about that. I mean, that's got like, the Almonds are a great example, okay? The Almonds will go out and they'll jam.
Mhm,
They're a jam band.
mhm.
And I've seen the Almonds many, many, many times, and, but then they would always find a way to come together,
Yeah,
and they would take that 3 minute and 57 minute song and make it like 15
yeah,
minutes.
15, 12, 15 minutes. That's the way Sam was, and I learned so much from that. It's one thing to have everything like Maiden King, we do it by the album, we do it by as best as I can do note for note,
But
and then
that's what
we're
your audience wants.
you know
Your audience wants to hear familiar radio-friendly covers.
yeah,
Am I
and
right?
yeah,
They
oh,
don't wanna hear
absolutely.
originals. I mean, we do an original, and we have to throw it in, and in the old days, we did it and then said "Oh, that's ours." But
Mhm.
now we announce it, and people actually, like, wanna hear it, so it's cool.
Yeah, Cliff always tells people that the bathrooms are closed when we decide to do original. That we have security guards by the bathrooms that they can't go.
But I
Uh,
think people would wanna hear a Maiden Kane original.
yeah, we had a few, and some did well, and it's just the forte for Maiden Kane was just doing the covers the way we did it, and we developed a thing of there was a lot of cover bands, and I mean we're really just a glorified cover band, but we're a tribute to an era, you know, of when arena rock became big. So anything like the Foreigner, that's all really before my time. So when we started playing that stuff, I was like, man, I got a lot to learn because I was an '80s
Well,
Dawkins,
yeah,
that
but
kind of stuff.
wasn't Foreigner and Kansas and Boston, weren't they, like, I guess they started in the '70s, really,
Yeah,
probably when
yeah,
the early stuff, right?
yeah. But then they had these huge, but those guys cut their teeth on touring. That's what made them famous. Tour, 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 tour.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, they had to sell the record. Like, in the old days, I guess, the record came out, and then the kids would go buy the record, and then they would go out the bands would support that record
And
album, and
just
they would
tour, tour,
tour that
tour.
album,
Yeah.
and then because they didn't have the luxury of having the internet, right?
Right, right, or MTV or any of that
So they
stuff.
probably
So
got really tight really fast playing the same shit over and over.
yeah, yeah, you would think, especially and just and they were on a bus a lot, and
There's a great movie about that. Did you ever see Almost Famous?
oh,
About that
I don't
there's
think
a
I've seen that one.
fictitious band called Stillwater,
Oh, okay.
and you gotta see this movie. It's fantastic. It was directed by, Cameron, Russell Cameron something. It's about a guy reporter that goes on a bus and he ends up staying a lot longer than he wanted to. And it's interesting because it talks about, the '70s and how they got on that bus
Yeah.
and they went to city to city to city. And next thing you know, they found out they're going to be on Rolling Stone. And it was a big deal back then to be on,
Right.
not only were they going to be in Rolling Stone, but they're going to be on the cover
Oh, that's
of
cool.
Rolling Stone.
Yeah.
So the movie's kind of cute. It's a love story too. Goldie Hawn's daughter's in there, Kate Hudson.
Yeah.
She won like best actress.
Yeah. It's funny when you talk to the guys, some of them, we've been, lucky enough to, hang with Dennis Elliott, the drummer for Warner, a few shows in Fort Myers, and I said, "Dennis," I said, "You quit Foreigner, like, in its heyday, why?" He's like, "I couldn't stand the bus anymore. Just couldn't do the
It's a
bus.
grind.
It was just such a grind."
Yeah.
And I'm like, Yeah, and I guess you don't think about that being with the same guys.
Plus, you know what? If you got a wife and kids and
Yeah,
you got like commitments and a sick parent, you don't want to be on the road.
yeah. And it wasn't like today. I mean, the guys are flying in and doing fly in, fly outs. I think some of the bands are starting to go back to the bus, taking their equipment with them. But for a while there, it was fly in, fly out, fly in, fly
Maybe
out.
because it was cheaper. Maybe the gas was cheaper. Flights were cheaper.
Yeah. And now they're starting to, it seems like they're starting to put the shows back together.
Do you bring special guests like all these names you're mentioning? You got all these friends that live in the area. You ever bring people up on stage, or you guys don't have really do that?
No, we go up and do our show and get through it, and that's about it. We get our set list up, and we've designed it to, Maiden Cane was designed to bring people's memory back. It's an experience. We have a theater show that we don't get to do as often as we'd like because just having the screens and the LED screens, and it's a whole show. A lot of times when we do it, we'll have a comedian open the show. So we'll have a comedian. We have a guy that comes out that's open for Styx and Rush and all kinds of stuff. And he's used to open for rock bands. And he was actually a drummer in a rock band that opened with Black Sabbath. But we we give people their youth back for an hour
I love
or
that.
hour and a half. And when I realized that was the way to do it, because people are like, our videos are about, if we're playing a Boston song, it'll say show Boston. And then in the video, it'll show how much gas was the year that song came out
Interesting.
and the clothes that people were wearing that year
I like that.
or the albums that came out.
So you're reminiscing.
People. Yeah.
Yeah, because think about it. You and I'm a couple years older than you, but I remember getting my driver's license, and my girlfriend and I would be driving, and we would park and get beer.
Yeah.
And the entertainment was the radio.
Yeah.
Right. That's the first time I heard AC/DC's Back in Black.
Right.
A friend of mine had a cassette, so I pushed it in, and we heard it. It was so good, I flipped it over. So my girlfriend and I were, doing what we were doing, but the whole time I was listening. I kept saying, what is this?
Yeah.
And when we went back into the party, I said to my buddy, gave him his keys. I go, dude, I just can't believe what just happened.
And what car did you drive?
It was like a Dodge. No, it was his car. It
But
was his car.
But you still remember it. You remember it. And that's the thing, is that people come in and go, oh my God, I had a 70 Chevelle and
Yeah.
it was jacked up and I had this and
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
it was cool. And they remember being 18 and 19 years
That's right.
old.
That's right.
And that is what Maiden Cane's about. It's not, we're just playing the songs, but we're trying to play it to where you remember it.
I
When
love
you
it.
were
That's
riding in
beautiful.
your
That's
car,
beautiful.
because the people had their 8 tracks. I remember the 8 tracks. Shit, I would just ride like this.
Yeah.
Dad was just back from Vietnam and mom was over there and we rode and whatever. And they would smoke cigarettes and your eyes would be burning, but the songs would come on and you remember those songs. And
So we went from 8 tracks to cassettes, and then we went to CDs, and then things changed, right? Music
Yeah.
changed.
yeah,
Because there was a lot more guys that were putting out CDs that were more about like less rock and less, you know, fuzz and distortion. It was more about like piano and
yeah,
Bruce Hornsby in the range and stuff like that. So
yeah. It went from that analog, gritty rock and roll to everything was super
do you still have a
clean.
turntable at home?
I don't.
Because I'm thinking about getting one. Not, I don't have any more records. My records are long gone. But putting that needle down and hearing that little hiss,
Yeah, yeah.
and then you got to flip the shit over.
Yeah. I remember with Kiss records, when my turntable would break, my uncles would show me you could take a sewing needle, small enough, and you could make a cone and you could take your hand and set it on there and it would play.
No shit.
It worked. I'm like, no effing way. And it actually worked.
Huh.
I mean, ain't no difference. Like, phonographs, that they just set the thing down and had the big cone.
Yeah.
You ever been to Fort Myers to Edison?
Yeah.
They have them down there. I mean, that's all it was. There was no speaker. It was
Yeah.
just this big cone that amplified whatever the needle was putting off, the vibrations or whatever.
So what are you listening to today? When you're driving in your car, you're on the job, you're home. What are you listening to?
Music wise, gosh, not very much. Not very much.
You don't still listen to Kiss. You listen to Almonds. Like I still go back, dude. Like I spend a lot of my time listening to shit from the 70s, man.
Mhm.
Like I don't know, maybe because of this job or maybe because of my band, but I'm reminiscing. I'm going back to early Springsteen. I'm listening to early Almonds. I had some Stones on the other day because I think we need to go back to where like it all happened for us, man.
Yeah.
Saying
Yeah. My favorite band right now, I would have to say, because of the writing is Shine Down. They're if they have something come out, I'll buy that record for sure. I like the way they write. They're cool. They're rock and roll. I think their mental illness is a huge thing for those guys, or helping people that are mentally ill, or because if you listen to the songs, it has to do with a lot of mental stuff.
No shit.
You know what I mean? And when you hear it, you're like, oh my God, it's really a human factor involved in their music. And I like that. It's not just, party, rock and roll, blah, blah, blah. There's something to it. So I like those guys as far as what I'd be listening to.
More serious.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we came out of the hair metal, which was fun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then the Soundgardens and the Seattle scene made everything a little darker, a little bit more serious.
Yeah.
Right.
I hated that era.
You didn't like that?
No.
Really?
No, because we were having a lot of fun.
No doubt.
We had fun, man. I mean,
Van Halen.
Yeah,
it was fucking great shit.
Yeah, we didn't give a shit. It was crazy.
But everybody took to Nirvana and Pearl Jam and Soundgarden, right? Alice in Chains, like they took to that thing. It got big, and then it spawned bands like Foo Fighters.
Yeah. And it's not that it was bad music. I didn't enjoy Nirvana when they first came out. I liked Soundgarden because they were cool. It was more like, what we were used to. But Nirvana to me, it just, it just wasn't what I was about. I just spent the last 10 years or whatever becoming the best guitar player I could. And then out comes Kurt Cobain that plays 2 chords or 3 chords and no guitar solos. And we were like, what the hell?
Yeah.
But that was a weird time too here in this area locally, because we got smoked. It was, that came out, karaoke and country music, and it killed the whole scene.
Well, I never thought of a rock scene here. I mean, was there a rock scene here?
Yeah.
There was.
Mm-hmm.
Because as far as I know, country has a way of kind of like creeping in a lot of places. Not so much here. I think that like maybe up in Tampa, there's more of a country scene there than there is here.
Yeah, we back then you had to get on a circuit here. You want to get in the A clubs. Club Yesterdays was an A club. They had their following. And then when your job was to keep the following there when they were there. It was different. Was
Joyland popular? Because there wasn't the original Joyland. The old one was on 41, right? Before they moved over to Lockwood, because they just moved again.
Yeah. I don't know. I remember Joyland, and I remember when it happened. I don't remember when it happened. Actually, I don't remember the years that it happened. I just remember here's Joyland. And then it was a huge country thing. But the line dancing, the karaoke, I mean, when
Garth Brooks.
Yeah. Garth. Yeah, that was huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was huge. So what was that? Early 90s?
Yep.
Yeah. So here we are. And, we're still playing the 80s stuff. And, we'd play Fort Myers, Cape Coral, Venice, Sarasota, and then we would just kind of just did a little circuit. And we played 50 out of 52 weeks, 5 nights a week, band houses.
I don't want to say competing, but there was a band called Stormbringer that was playing a lot of that same music. Were you guys rivals, or were you competing for stage time?
No.
Or did you not even there was enough of the pie that you didn't have to deal with each other?
Yeah, there was so much. They would be in Tampa and we would be in Cape Coral.
Because I've never seen those guys, man. I never met those guys, never seen them. I hear stories about them. They were like the premier 80s arena rock band.
Yeah, and Stranger.
I heard of Stranger.
That's Greg Billings.
Greg Billings, yeah.
Yeah, they were the premier band.
Right.
Tampa, wherever they went, they was slammed. Yeah, they were the premier band. And I think there was a band called Juliet that did well too.
Yes, I heard of that. That's the Leezy.
Mm-hmm.
The Leezy.
And they would, they were on the circuit, but they're older than me. I didn't.
But were those bands original bands too, or are they just pure? They were pure.
Oh no, Stranger was original. They had I believe they had a deal.
Because I think that there were more original venues back then than there are now. Now there's no original venues.
And people wanted you to work in your music. They wanted to hear your original stuff too, And I mean, there was phenomenal bands. I mean, I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday about the production, and he was a production guy. He's like, man, we used to make the flash pots and we had 2 wires. And I'm like, he's like, And we're talking like, yeah, how do we get away with that shit? We're putting off flashbots and explosions inside of clubs. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. And well, there was a local band called In and Out, and they were a great band. They do like Bohemian Rhapsody. And I mean, you're like, how are these guys doing it? But they had flashbangs, and somebody sabotaged one of their rigs one night and it injured a lot of people in a club in Punta Gorda.
Damn.
I mean,
Like kind of
yeah,
like Great White up in Rhode Island.
yeah, except they put a bunch of shit in their tubes and covered it up and it exploded.
Yeah, not good.
So that was the end of the fire and flames and
Yeah.
then the Great White incident, you know.
Yeah.
So it really, I mean, we pushed it hard back in the day. You had to, because I mean, there was no internet. You had to go on reputation and word of mouth only back then. So you had to put on a hell of a show.
So you were a full-time player back then. You were playing all the time.
Yeah. Yep.
And now that you're not playing as much, you're playing probably better quality. You're playing less shows, but higher quality shows.
Oh,
Probably.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we finally put together something that works for us. And in the area where we are at is welcoming that. People really like venues, big venues, like the Twisted Fork or like Encore. I'm glad Encore's here. We were doing the White Buffalo for a while before it closed, and that's right as COVID was coming in. We had
And
done
then
a
there was Big Top Live, which was going to be big, and that
yeah,
closed.
we were trying to get into that. We're like, oh, great, there's another. 'Cause we don't have a Sarasota. We don't have to play a Sarasota. It's Thunder by the Bay. But now that Encore's here, we're super stoked because we like to make a little.
You guys are going to do well there.
Yeah, we
They
like
got a
to
nice
do
stage, nice sound system. They get the big screen behind you.
and that's wonderful because we're gonna be able to do a full Maiden Kane show. Like
Good.
we're gonna do the
I'll be there
the
that
full
night.
show.
Hey, as we wind down, tell us about the Hall & Oates experience.
That's challenging. It's challenging. I'm a rock guitar player. I did study classical for a while with Thomas Koch from Sarasota.org, and that was challenging. But when I stepped into R&B and that type of music, listen to Hall & Oates. Unless you watch the live stuff, there's not a whole lot of guitar. So when they asked me to come in, Billy, our keyboard player, and Cliff, our singer, they're also on the Hall & Oates thing. They're like, yeah, we need to make it more exciting, but we can't make it too crazy. So I'm still working my way in and around and finding the niche where I need to be. And the only way I'm able to do it is by actually watching Hall & Oates play live. And they're very different live. They're very different than the albums. And sometimes I'll learn the live stuff. They're like, oh, it's too much. I'm like, no, you didn't watch. You need to watch this performance. I was like, there's guitars everywhere. But it's fun. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's super cool. It's different, and it's a challenge. It's a challenge to play just different music. Very different.
So how can fans that are watching this right now want to see you? How can they reach out to you? Is there what websites, Facebooks,
Yeah, Facebook.
Instagram? Is it all Maiden Kane? Does Hall & Oates have its own thing? Do you have a Facebook page yourself?
Yeah, I have a Facebook page. Well, I had one, and I was maxed out, and then I got hacked. I lost all of
That
it.
sucks.
Yeah, I lost all of it. And I run my construction company, and that was a big part of having a lot of contacts. And I lost 5,000 people like that.
Because you've been here for a very long time, so you must know a lot of people.
I did. Yeah, I do.
And so when you're not playing, you do the construction. You said you have a family.
Mm-hmm.
You have children.
I have twin girls. Yeah, they're going to be 13.
Wow.
I have a grown daughter too. So my wife, when we got together, she had a career. She never had children, but it felt right, and we have two beautiful twin girls.
Fantastic.
Yeah, super talented.
That's an exciting age, man. Because that's when the emotions come out.
Yeah, no, they want nothing to do with rock and roll. They want nothing to do with playing guitar. And I got them a piano for Christmas, and they were phenomenal. Phenomenal. And I said, wow, you guys are super, super. And they're both played exactly great, talent, same. And I'm like, you guys can come up with me this year and during the Christmas show and play with Mr. Billy. And that was it. They've done no more keyboards.
Isn't it funny? Because like they don't think you're cool. Like
Yeah.
most people would think you're cool, and like those kids are like, I don't want these old guys.
Oh yeah, no, my kids don't think I'm cool, not even a little bit. I mean, we've been in front of with 38 Special, and there's 15,000 people, and they don't. They would just want to be on there.
Well, not yet. One day they'll say, "Wow, that's pretty impressive."
Yeah,
Like,
maybe
they'll grow to that. Right?
Maybe.
I think so.
Yeah, but I don't push it on them. I ask them if they want to learn, if they want to play, and they don't. want anything to do with it, so I don't push it on them. It's just what they
So
do.
after all these years and all these gigs, and now we're all getting older, what do you still love about it? Like, what's your driving force, man?
Uh, I really right now. I really love recording. I've really been doing a lot of recording by myself. And then getting with Cliff, and we're working on a bunch of stuff. So hopefully, if we can ever get our schedule synced, we can get a whole
Does
record
that
out.
is that a precedent over, say, live shows, live performances?
No, I love playing live. That's the best drug in the world.
You get that adrenaline off the crowd, right?
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%. We did a couple shows recently back to back. Actually, we did 3 in a row. We did a Friday, then 2 Saturdays, and, what kept me going was watching people dancing.
Yeah, and then just seeing how, seeing how much they love the music, how much they enjoy live music. I think that's incredible. Just watching the reaction. Not about what I'm playing, but they just enjoy the music just that much.
So is it safe to say that you're gonna be doing this for many more years to come?
Unless I fall over on stage, which that could happen as heat. But yeah, I love it. The live experiences, it's amazing to see because I think live music it's a connection. And when you get everybody to connect, and I see my hair starting to stand up. When you get everybody to connect and they're all feeling that same vibe in the whole place and it's thousands of people, that's incredible.
And I've seen you guys do that with my own eyes.
It
I've seen Cliff as the excellent front man that he is, and you as the great guitar player you are, command and control that audience and bring people together. There's no politics at that point, you know.
no,
There's no
no.
racism. There's none of that social bullshit. It's like everybody's into one thing, man. That's the song being played.
Yeah, and that's Maiden Kane too. Is we love all the bands. We love to celebrate the music and everybody that's out there doing it. It's just making it bigger. You see a lot of competitiveness in music, live music, and you know, for here it used to be, well, this band's playing, so I don't like this band. And I'm like, we're not like that. We just we like to help everybody. And Trey, we talked about Trey. Trey used to work with me. Trey would, come and help me with my guitars, and he was still a kid, and what a player he is. He's an amazing player. Mike, I used to work with his mom at the hospital. He was a nurse. I was an X-ray technologist, and I did that for 18 years, and he's become a phenomenal player. I mean, and I love watching these younger guys come up.
Well,
And
hey, Jacked Up's not really a younger band by any means, but come see us on Saturday the 28th.
where is that? Where you
We're
gonna guys
opening
be at?
up for that Boston tribute at Twisted Fork.
Oh,
You probably live near the Twisted Fork, don't you?
I'm not far from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So get there, come watch us. We play from 7 to 8.
Oh, cool.
They go on at like 8:30. Love to have you out there in the audience.
Yeah, yeah, very cool. We don't get to go out much because of the kids. So my kids are cheerleaders and they do competitive cheer. So if I'm playing, mama's taking the kids and it's like we're going. So my night out is me playing or I'm at a competition, watching cheerleading. so
Yeah,
so occasionally we get to go out and we'll try to
sure.
get out to,
No, I
to see
totally
you
get it,
guys.
man. I totally get it.
It's like when we get a weekend down, it's like, oh my God, I got to mow the lawn, I got to do this. You know what I mean? Normal people, normal everyday stuff. We all do it. And it hits hard when you're busy, and we're busy
Well, good deal.
for sure.
Well, Joey, thanks for coming on the show, man.
Absolutely
I'm going
appreciate
to
it.
encourage everybody to go see you, right? Maiden Kane, they can see the dates. There's a lot of good stuff coming up,
Yep,
right?
yep. We got Encore live, I believe, on 17th, April
Yes, I'm
17th.
going to recommend to our listeners right now to go to Encore Live's website and reserve a table because tables fill up really fast there.
Yeah. And what we're planning on doing, and I don't know if I should leak it, but I guess I'm going to. Maiden Kane, for years I've been talking about holiday holiday stuff. And I wanted to dedicate like November as Christmas show thing that we do. And last year we did it. And we did a little small pilot show and it's got Christmas videos and it's got
I
fun.
love that.
It's amazing. So right now we're going to start working on that November and it's going to be nothing but Christmas. We do TSO,
That's awesome, dude.
we do all kinds of, and
I
we
love TSO.
yeah, so we do that, and then we take other standard songs, we change them, we mash them up, and we make it all about our show. So hopefully I can get that up. I want to do it at the Fork. I want to do it at Encore. I want to do it at places where we have screens
Yes,
because it's a show. It's a
I
complete show.
I love it. I
And
think
it
that's
was
a
it
great
was
idea.
amazing last year we did it. I mean, it came out exactly the way I thought it was going to, and I'm like, now we can build on this. So that's what we're focusing on. One-off shows, trying to be original. It's hard to be an original as being a cover band or a tribute band doing
Right.
era, you know. So we're trying to constantly reinvent and move forward and do cool things. So
Cool.
and
All right,
that's where we're
Joey.
at.
Well, on that note, we're going to say goodbye.
All right, man.
And
Appreciate
great
it.
episode, man.
Yeah, thank you
Thanks.
so much.
We'll be in touch.
All right,
Alrighty,
sounds
see
good.
ya. Today's sponsor is Encore Live, Sarasota Bradenton's #1 destination for live entertainment.